positives and why you believe this has become necessary for Nigeria to think redesigning the Naira.
There are a number of reasons why this is very important. First, I will talk about what the central bank governor has not said. There are a number of things that he has mentioned. The cost of printing money, the money we spend, what we call currency or fiat, they come at a cost. Imagine what it was 20 years ago when those currencies were introduced. How much do you think that piece of paper will cost? Given the inflation, given the valuation, and how much it will cost us to reprint them time and again. So it's becoming much, much costlier for Nigeria to spend money to print, and I mean in billions, to keep printing this kind of money in circulation. And it's also very dangerous. It's also very unpredictable for central bank as to what will go back to the banking system. And we also need to look beyond not having this money in the banking system. We also need to look at how many Nigerians are banked. For instance, less than 100 million Nigerians have the BVN. Out of over 200 million Nigerians. So people who live in some local government, and there are a lot of local governments in Nigeria without banking presence, until the central bank introduced the agency banking, where you now have what is called POS around Nigeria today to cover those that are not banked. So these are issues why we need to do something about the currency that we carry that we call Naira. Again, we have also seen the need for central bank to control people that are holding money in their account. But will it be the permanent solution? The truth is that I doubt. You
just took it right out of my mouth. I mean, will this really stabilize the country's monetary policy environment? We heard the EFCC chairman there say that the EFCC, in collaboration, of course, with the CBN, hope that this will stabilize the country's economy. Will it?
Well, I doubt, and I'll be very sincere with you. Central Bank last year introduced e-Naira, and I spoke to the issue of e-Naira. A lot of Nigerians were expecting that the e-Naira has come to substitute the value of Naira, that Naira will be stronger. The truth is that even this, we do nothing regarding value. It will only change the face value. And in economics, it is not the face value that matters. What matters?
What exactly do you mean by that?
That is,
I mean, is it the same when experts say, look, why don't you just do away with the higher denominations? Are you saying the same thing?
If you do away with the higher denomination, the value of the lower denomination has not improved. So what they need to do technically is to redenominate. But Nigeria is not right for the redenomination because we are not increasing outputs. If we are to Ghana tried it. Ghana redenominated without outputs. Without outputs. If you redenominate without increasing output, then you're going to have challenges.
50% of the money in circulation is not in the banks. Let's talk about the implication of this. And would you say this is an indictment on the banks in Nigeria? Because trust me, the CBN will not give Naira to anyone directly. It goes through the banking system.
I agree completely with Mr. Emefiele that over 80%, I think it's more than 80% that are not covered. What we should do is let's leave Abuja, Lagos, and about 13 states. Look at other states. As journalists, I'm sure you have traveled length and breadth of this country. There are local government, I'm not talking about words, local governments in this country without any commercial bank presence. They don't have a presence. You know what that means? How do you expect a farmer in Ohimini? I think Ohimini may have one of the microfinance banks. Ohimini is somewhere in Benue State. Assuming there is no bank in Ohimini, how do you expect a farmer in Ohimini to sell his or her proceed and go to Otukpo, the nearby place you can get a commercial bank, and go to UBA, for instance, in Otukpo, and deposit the money, and when you need it 2 weeks after, you now enter motor, you spend money to enter, to board yourself from your home back to the same Otukpo, then you go back to Ohimini. It's not convenient. We don't have enough spread of commercial banks or microfinance banks, so there must be something. I've seen the POS initiative, which I call agency banking, is a nice initiative. But can we upgrade it a little so that people's money can be warehoused and people will not need to keep the money?
Especially in the rural area, may be left behind. And how do you even bring in the unbanked? We have about 60 million, Nigerians are unbanked.
A lot of
this move, will it encourage more people to go into the banks?
Well, that I have a new face of currency doesn't mean I'll go to the bank. I think central bank should appoint agents like the agency banking, use them to say, collect all the old currency, but in exchange bring new currency. That is how it has done most of the time. You have new merchandise.
The CBN governor, I was there, he said there's something that we call the token that will be introduced to help those unbanked people really have enough time to be able to exchange it.
To exchange. So that will make sense. The old Naira that we had before this was introduced, it was agents that were appointed. They were going from houses to house, street to street. There were many, and they were getting something small on the number of old currency that they returned. So Central Bank has done that before, and I believe we do this. But what happens to those that EFCC is talking to? And I think Mr. Bauer is very apt. But how do we curtail politicians? And this is why I'm concerned about the timing. Politicians who want to run next year, we said it's going to end by January.
Yes.
If they exchange the money to dollars and the new currency comes and they change it back to new currency, have you been able to solve the problem?
They haven't been changing their monies to dollars.
To dollars.
Even before now.
So Mr. Bauer's team is very instrumental, is very useful in this new policy for it to produce the kind of result.
How?
Because central bank alone cannot achieve this. EFCC must have spy on the streets.
Right.
So if you are changing money you don't need, such person must be brought to book. And we will not say that it's because it's political season that EFCC is political. No. We must see EFCC, Mr. Bauer and his team, as being objective, because one of the things that central bank did not mention is what he says, that we are going to monitor and we want BDCs to comply. He has looked beyond the ordinary in his conversation.